Hello, ninjas. How is everyone today? Have you guys had a good weekend? Just looking at chat at the moment. Welcome, Blake. Welcome, AD and AJ. Welcome, Ms. Yeti. Welcome, Falcon Fab Lab Coder Dojo. And then, is it Crazy Kid? Crazy Kid is under Anna Daniel, I think. Anyway, lovely to have you all here. So, probably won't play any games before we start the pixel art lesson today. What I'm going to do though is just for the first bit, I'm just going to go through some good examples of pixel art and some of like the history of it as well. Probably just for like 5 minutes, just to make sure everyone's ready to go. And then I'll take you across to this website called Piskel, and then I'll show you how to use it to make your own pixel art, basically. It's free, and it doesn't need you to sign up for an account or anything. I'm actually pretty impressed with it so far. Anyway, what up, AD? Lovely to see you all. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. Oh, you've got a faster laptop now, Ms. Yeti. Excellent. Very good. Very good indeed. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some stuff. So you guys probably recognize what's on my screen right now. We've got the original Mario sprite, which you can see is very pixely, and it looks very weird when you look at it like up this close. It's only when you sort of look at it, sort of when you zoom out a bit, that it looks better. So there's obviously, this is like sort of the first sort of, well, not the first. This is an NES era Mario, and I think this is the Super NES Mario, and you can see it's got like it's about twice as high, the pixels, and it's got more colors. But you can see there's actually not that many colors involved here. There are literally 3 shades of red, 3 shades of yellow, 3 shades of skin, and 2 shades of blue, and then white. That's it. There's like 12 colors. And this is for pixel art that was already like, and this has got like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors? Yeah, only 5 colors. Back in the day, the more colors you added, the harder it was to get your game to like not be, like the more colors you added, the more space it would take up. Yeah, like back when we were making games on cartridges, you had very little space to deal with. In fact, you had about half a megabyte, and a megabyte is like 1,000th of a gigabyte, and there are like 8 gigabytes on my phone or something now. So it's kind of crazy how far along things have come. Oh, was there a cat? I didn't see. Were they like? I leave the poll up in the background just in case they like want to jump up there. But yeah, I didn't see. You do need an account to save your projects, but you can also just download your projects. So that's actually pretty cool. So the other thing that I'm just going to show you that I really liked is, I wonder if I can zoom in on this. Yeah. This is actually, I'll zoom out again a little bit. This is, I'll just move myself into the corner a bit more. Good. This is the original Pokemon Red and Blue, which is like 20-something years old now. That's terrifying. On the very left there, it's Pokemon Original Red and Blue, which was when I played it was in black and white, but you could get a slightly colorized version. Actually, that's Pokemon Yellow, because he's got Pikachu following him around. You can see, if we were to zoom in, you can see again there's about as many pixels as Mario has. I think the sprites for the original Pokemon are like 20 pixels high, and then the second Pokemon, Gold and Silver, again had similar sprite heights, and then things got more complicated, more colors, better resolution, more pixels in gold. What's it? It was the second generation was Gold and Silver. And then, is that Is that the one that came after Black and White? Anyway, I don't know my Pokemon generations. Spot the fake Pokemon fan. But I remember playing the original and the one that came after. But yeah, you can see like when we start looking really close at some of this pixel art. Can I? Oh yeah, I can scroll like this. You can see they've added so many more colors. They've added more pixels, and the sprites get bigger. And you can see this in a lot of games as well, like modern games that have pixel art to look really nice. They'll use really big sprites, so you might have these really quite nice, elaborate-looking sprites. Now, I'm not very good at pixel art, and I want this tutorial to be for everyone who's new to pixel art. So we're going to start off with really, really like NES era, like that first Mario, the first Pokemon era pixel art with probably some nicer colors. But I'm gonna show you how easy it can be to make pixel art. Now, when I zoom in on like some of these things, like this Pokemon, it looks kind of weird to me. I don't know if it looks weird to you, but like the more I zoom in, the weirder it looks. So this is something that you'll come back to later. Pixel art looks weird when it's really big, but as soon as you zoom out, it looks fine, it looks great. So that's the thing. So yeah, like these Pokeballs look fine. These trees look fine. They look great. But if I were to zoom in, they start looking stranger. They look sort of odd. So when you're making pixel art, it's good to have a little representation of how your piece of pixel art looks when it's zoomed out, because you're going to be looking at it really big when you're making it, and you've got to kind of envisage what it looks like when it's really small. So that's the thing to bear in mind. All right, let's check the chat, shall we? Yeah, you can just use offline Piskel. You can even download editable versions of Piskel files, or you can just download them as GIFs and upload them into Piskel later. So you don't need an account. You can sign up for one. That is fine, although probably talk with your parents if you're still kind of young before you do that. But in the meantime, don't even worry about it. I haven't signed up for an account. I just download the things when I'm done with them. Oh, you've got a Pokemon Red cartridge for the Game Boy Advance. Oh, that'll be the remake then. That'll be the remake of Pokemon Red, because the original Pokemon Red was for the original Game Boy. It wasn't even optimized for the Game Boy Color. You could play it on a Game Boy Color, but it didn't have all the colors that a Game Boy Color could do. The Game Boy Advance version was like Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think. They did like a remake of the games. And they've done a remake of a bunch of the old games as well, made them nicer and newer. Sonic Master System has... Yeah, it does. Let's have a quick look at that before we start at Pixel. So Sonic Pixel Art. Yeah. This, you can see that there's a lot of pixels in one Sonic sprite. The Mega Drive actually was able to display in a higher resolution than the Super NES, I think. No, yes, I could be getting that wrong. But also when you see Sonic playing, he's a lot larger than Mario is, so that they can fit a lot more detail on him. You do have 2 original DSs, very nice. Yep, you can play the Game Boy cartridges and DSs. There should be a slot at the bottom. Parents can use their Gmail/Google account for Piskel. Very good, very good. Nice to hear that, Falcon Fab Lab. Yeah, the Master System. Yeah, the Master System was definitely, it's the generation before. If you can imagine, like we have like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, or that kind of thing. The Master System and the NES, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, or as I called it when I was a kid, I always called it the NES, because it was NES. That was part of one generation, and that was like original. So if I say NES pixel art, yeah, so you've got original Mario, which is very basic. Like you've got these very kind of like these colors, very simple color schemes. You had Castlevania as well. Again, very simple color schemes, very blocky. This is another classic one, Mega Man. and you can see this kind of, big chunky pixels. And then if you go SNES pixel art, it's a big upgrade. Like this is Samus, yeah, from Metroid. The Metroid games were really good. And some really impressive, nice-looking pixel art. We don't want to go to that. So yeah, there's a lot that you can do with the more pixels you have, but we're going to start off small because that's the most fun about pixel art, is making do with a really small thing and just building yourself up from there. Because even if you're not very good at art, and I'm not very good at art, anyone can do pixel art, and it's really fun, and it's really good, and you can use these in your projects as well. All right, let's make a start, shall we? I have talked enough. I'll leave this up. I might play the maze game towards the end. Blake's made some additions to his maze game, and he's mailed them to me. Just quickly, I'm going to show you, I've put a piece of my pixel art into this endless runner. So I have a little robot. And this is a little robot. He's animated. You can see he's got wheels going around. And he's sort of bobbing up and down, and his eyes are flashing. So I'm just going to run through roughly how I made this robot and show you guys, because it will kind of sort of give you the tools that you need to make pixel art of your own, okay? Basically just sort of talking about and you can see that pixel art does definitely look better when it's sort of smaller. Yeah, so let's do that. And also I'll show you how you can take a animated GIF that you've made in Piskel and move it into Scratch. Alrighty. Okay, so first things first. Everyone follow me. We're all going to go to Piskel together. So we start off in Google. We type in Piskel. Piskel. It sounds like obviously they're going for something that sounds like pixel. Piskel. 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 The first thing that should come up should be www.piskelapp.com. Piskel, the free online sprite editor. Now there are other editors. I chose this one because it was a bit easier than some of the others. But there's probably other good ones as well. And you can also get downloadable software that lets you do pixel art as well. So we don't need to do any of this sign in or anything. We're just going to click on Create Sprite. Now it defaults to giving you a fairly nice amount of pixels. That gives you 32 by 32. And that's actually quite a lot. That's kind of like SNES era. That's like a Mega Drive second generation pixel art, the way that I think of it. And this is good, but it's also a lot of pixels for us to work with. So let's make this better. Let's make this easier by resizing the drawing area and making it all smaller. So let's do that before we do anything else. If you want to, if you've done some scribbling like I have, don't worry about it. We're going to resize this and then we're going to delete everything, and I'll start you off with how to, what we're going to do. So in the right side, you should find there are 5 buttons in a row. Underneath the cog button is a resize button. So click on that, resize, and you'll see we've got our width is 32 pixels and our height is 32 pixels. Just type in 16 and it should turn both of those to 16, and then click on resize. Cool, so it should have chopped off a little bit of the scribble if you have any scribble. If you don't, that is fine. Now let's get rid of any scribble that we have. So the way that you can do that is if you click on the left side, you've got all these different tools, and one of them is the rectangle selection. That allows us to select a whole bunch of... so you can drag this rectangle and select all of this stuff, and if you wanted, you could then you could do stuff like you could move it around, but we're just going to delete. Just press delete on the keyboard, and that should be everything clear. All right, so If anyone gets stuck or needs some help getting caught up, just let me know, okay? So now one good idea is with pixel art, have an idea of what you're making, because with pixel art, it is good if you can have a bit of a plan. But that being said, you can just kind of muck around until you find something that you like, and then you can kind of. The reason that I say it's good to have a plan is because we're gonna go straight into an animated piece of pixel art, because I want to like put this in a game. I don't want it just to be a piece of art that doesn't animate. I want to make it animated. And if you're animating your art, then you should probably then it really helps to have a plan, because with animation, you should use multiple layers. Now I'm going to explain layers to you first. So over here, in the sort of top, on the right side, sort of a little bit higher than the middle, you should have a little section that says layers. And there's a little plus underneath where it says layers, where you can create layers. And then what you can do is you can move layers around, you can move them up, move them down, you can edit their names, and you can delete layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 layers. And the layers are, I'm going to call the first layer robot body, or in fact I'm just going to call it body. The second layer is going to be, so edit layer name should be a little pen button there. It's going to be wheels. The third one, edit layer name, is going to be arms. So you can actually do whatever pixel art you want, but if you're not sure how this all works, especially with the animating side of things, like maybe you're good at doing art but you don't know how to make things nicely animate, then just follow along with roughly what I'm doing, and hopefully it will all make sense why we have these layers. Piskel froze. Okay, well hopefully it's unfrozen by the time I've seen, but by the time we need to start doing more of this. Alrighty. So what we're going to do now is, I'll come back to why we have those layers later. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to talk about palettes. So earlier, you know how we had a picture of Mario and we could see the 12 different colors that were used in Mario? We're going to do a palette, but we're just going to use 4 colors. We're going to make this nice and easy. So currently, we've got this palette here, and it's called New Palette. If you want, you can create new palettes, or you can manage palettes you already have. Palettes are basically just a selection of colors from which you can make your pixel art from. We don't need to use palettes anymore, but palettes were things that we had to do, coders had to use in old games, back when each new color that you added to a game would take up a bunch of space. It would make that game harder to run. So to get that sort of classic pixel art style, most really nice looking pixel art has like a very elegant number of colors, like not that many colors, but it has got nice shading. So we're going to make 4 colors. So over where it says palettes on the sort of right hand side of the screen, click on where it says manage this palette. Okay, so we've got 2 colors here. We've got like a very dark gray and a lighter gray. And then there's this little sort of plus symbol here that can make new colors. So if you keep clicking it, it keeps making new colors, but they're like more of the grays. And then once you have these colors, you can change them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this first color, and you can move the color around on here, along here. You can, when you have like the color that you want, you can change any of these dials. And so what we want is basically we want a black for our first color. And then we want like a dark gray, and then we want a light grey, and then we want a nice red. Not too bright, nice and dark. So yeah, 4 colours: black, dark grey, light grey, and red. And let's see what we can do with these colours. We can name this palette as well if we want. Did I just cancel out of that? I did. Don't know how that happened. That's fine. Let's make that again. And you can move your colours around as well, which is kind of nice. You can just literally drag them backwards and forwards. Well, you could. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Black, dark grey, light grey, and red. Dark red. Save. Cool. All right, hopefully you guys are all still with me. And some of this stuff that I'm explaining will make sense later. So, I'm just going to show you my little robot guy, but way bigger. Let's see if I can make him. There we go. So we've got this little robot guy. He's very simple. He's got some wheels on his feet. He's got some arms that wave around. He's got some eyes that blink. And his body bobs up and down. So yeah, that's kind of going to do something roughly that looks like this. And this will teach you just basically, you can see like these wheels are spinning round. And now, as you can see, once you make the pixels really big, it looks very weird. But when it's small, it looks pretty good. All right, so that gives you an idea of what we're aiming for. So what we're going to do is we're going to start making the body. So go across to Layers, click on Body. Make sure that you've clicked on the Body layer. And make a little shape of like a robot head. And then just like a little body. The nice thing about pixel art is that it's kind of like sculpting. You can add little bits as you go. Let's try that. So once we've got like, actually, now leave a little gap at the top because I'm going to have him go up and down like this. Make sure there's like one little pixel gap. Yeah, I like that a bit better. Like a nice rounder head. And I'll do that. This is going to be his body. His wheels are going to sit like here and here, and his arms are going to come out there. All right. So now, once we've got this black outline, just fill in the inside, but leave a little black outline with that dark grey. You can do things like decide to widen it up a little bit. And there are all these tools, you know, and they're all the same tools you've used in other drawing programs. So, you know, I don't necessarily need to like explain a lot of them to you. Being able to paint bucket, eraser, make rectangles and circles. But the nice thing about dealing with pixels with a pixel art this small is that you can kind of be just a bit more direct. Okay, so then once we've done that, let's try filling in the inside with an even lighter color. And you can try like the shadows to be on one side and not the other and see what you like the look of. And you can kind of, if you look up in the top left corner, you can kind of see like what it looks like. You can kind of have it so that it looks like he's looking in a certain direction. I'm giving him little red eyes. Little mouth. Yeah. And so just sort of try it different ways. You can try changing the shape of how your robot looks if you like. I don't mind this though. I think this is good. Okay. Just looking at chat at the moment. Piskel is built into GDevelop 5. Ah, that's very cool, Ms. Yeti. Very cool. All right. What's kind of interesting is in the top right corner, it will show you it's sort of in actual size, and you can see now on a modern computer how tiny our pixels are on modern computers. It's like, oh, that's so small. But then the top left corner gives you a bit more of a realistic kind of what that looks like. Yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll make the wheels. So once you're finished doing like a little robot body, and you can kind of muck around with this a little bit. You could do, we could give him like little vents or something. Make him look like a bee. I don't mind that actually. Maybe not. What about like this? No, that looks too weird. I'm going to stick with simplicity. I quite like it like this. I like the fact that it kind of makes him look like he's looking in one direction by having this shadowy line on one side and not on the other side. All right, let's add some wheels. So remember, you've got to make sure you go to the correct layer. So we've got the body layer, and now we've got the wheels layer. So let's add some big... We could even add some chunkier wheels, maybe. So the way that wet layers work, so in the top right corner, if you hover over, there should be a little 1 and then cross. So you can have it as original size, best size, or full size. Let's try best size. Oh yeah, that seems good. So as you're doing these wheels, what you'll notice is, it's putting the wheels underneath the body because the layer of the wheels is underneath the body layer. But then, if you move one of these layers up using that layer menu on the right side, now the wheels are in front of the body. So you could actually do something kind of cool whereby one of the wheels was in front of the body and one of the wheels was not. That's a thing that we could do. But maybe we'll just keep things simple for now. And I might make these wheels a bit smaller. So I'm going to grab the eraser tool from over on the left side here. I'm going to make these and then go back to the pen tool. Make the wheels a bit smaller. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little light dot in the corner of the wheels. And so then what we're going to do is we're just going to draw 2 little spindly arms. one little spindly arm. And then you'll notice the arms, again, they're underneath the body. So what we need to do is we need to bring them up above the body. And now we've got these two little spindly arms. Now, why have we done it this way? Why have we made these three layers? The wheels, the arms, the body. The reason is it's going to make it easier for us to animate. So, if you've got your three different layers with your three different parts of the robot, what we're going to do now is we're going to make 4 different frames of animation. And this is going to be super easy. The way that we do this is we're going to click in the top left corner. You can see there's this 1, and this is our little animation section. So we're going to add new frame. In fact, what if we should be able to copy? Yeah, we can copy. So we're going to duplicate this frame. So if you hover over your 1, the first robot that you've already drawn, you can go duplicate and duplicate. Now, in Scratch, when these are all run together, what is the Scratch name for all of these things, these 4 pictures that we're going to end up with? Write your answers in chat now. While you're doing that, you can delete frames, but make sure you don't delete your original frame. Make sure you don't delete like the last bit of robot, drawing you have. Otherwise, you have to draw it again, obviously, and we don't want that. But you can see what's happened is we've done these duplications of these frames, and it's copied over the 3 layers as well, which is important, and that's good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to frame number 2, and we're going to we're going to click on rectangle selection. So what I was going for, very close, Mezzietti. Well, yeah, technically you're right, Mezzietti. So these frames, these 4 frames, when you put them in Scratch, they're going to be 4 costumes, right? We animate between different costumes when we're making a Scratch game, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this rectangle selection. We're going to drag a nice big rectangle over all of this. This is all in frame number 2. And then we're going to go click on this tool on the left called the Move tool. It looks like a little hand like this. And then what you can do is you can grab your entire selection and move it around. And so I'm just going to move it 1 pixel up. And then I'm going to do the same thing, rectangle selection with frame number 4. I'm going to grab this. I don't think I can move it around. No, I can't. I've got to go to the Move tool, drag the whole thing and put it up 1. All right. So currently now it's just like popping up and down like this. Let's do some edits to the eyes. Let's go to frame number 1, and I'm going to do some back to the pen tool on the left side. I'm going to do a bit of editing. You can do this as you like. And you can see in the top right corner how it's going to look. Yeah, that doesn't work. Let's try reversing that. let's make it so that when it goes up, the eyes go up. When it goes down, the eyes go down. The nice thing about this is that it's so fast, it's like easy to do. And then, let's see, let's try it. Or maybe we can just have the eyes going up just the once. And then, once we've, messed around with the eyes, and you can just leave your eyes the same if you like. You don't have to have the eyes move around or anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the eyes blink in number 3 and number 4. So his red eyes are kind of flickering on and off. Honestly, I might just not have the eyes go up at all. Let's see what that looks like. The nice thing is that you can customize your robot to basically be whatever you like. And if you do it wrong, it's very easy to fix. Yeah, that might be okay. No problem, AJ. I can slow down a little bit. You can see that not all of these things are necessary. Like having the robot go up and down like this will be really good for the reason that's going to come up next. What we're going to do is we're going to click on the wheels layer. And we're going to make these wheels turn around. So once you've clicked on the wheels layer, you can click on all 4 of the different slides, and you can change where the dot is on the wheels. So it kind of looks like this. Oh, mine's looking a bit crazy. I think I put them in the wrong direction. Yeah, I have. Let's try that again. So yeah, this dot now should be going around and around the 4 different squares it can be. Okay, there we go. It took me a little while to get there. So I'll give you some time to do the wheel animation there. But open preview and pop up. So you should see your robot has now got those things are spinning around, right? So and there's other things. So there's other things that you can do now if you want. If you want, you could make the robot's body longer. There's this weird kind of flickery effect in between the wheels that's kind of distracting, that I don't like. So what you could do is you could make it and all of this is optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. The key thing is that you're playing around with what you want this to look like. I'm just going to make the frames 2 and 4 just a bit longer. So now the robot's head's going up and down. Do I like that more? Now it just looks like his head's like hammering up and down. I'm going to undo that. So you can see that you can kind of go backwards and forwards on this. It's like sculpting. You can decide to put a bit on, take a bit off, try it one way or the other. This is all about like experimentation. So I'm going to... And this one. So you can, if you like, as I said, like, might seem like I'm going backwards and forwards on things, but that's actually the best way of doing pixel art, is to try something out. Do I like that? Nah, I liked it better the other way. Let's try it the other way. Oh, do I like that better? I like that way better. Let's try it that way. So you can kind of do these little experiments going backwards and forwards. So yeah, it might seem like I'm leading you on these little wild goose chases, but this is kind of the essence of kind of what's actually so much fun about pixel art. That basically you can customize it the way that you want to. You've made a little siren on your robot's head. That's sweet. That's very cool. So one thing, for example, that I could try is adding. I'm going to try adding these. Oh no, not that. One thing I'm going to try these kind of like partial stripes that will go up and down and give a real sense of the robot, like. Oh, I have 5. Why do I have 5? Have I duplicated one by accident at one point? Yeah, I've duplicated one. That's all right. I can get rid of this one. I must have clicked on the duplicate button when I didn't mean to. All right, let's have a look at the bodies. Yeah, that might work. We'll see. Okay. So, up to you how you want your robot to look. It's ultimately what I'm saying. Let's move on to the arms. And this is why we've separated them all out. So we've got these arms, and they're the same each time. So let's try moving them a little bit. So let's start with number 1. The arms kind of look. This arm kind of looks like this. So let's try and you can kind of look in the top left corner. You can see these arms where they are. So you can just sort of reshape just a little bit where these arms are. I'm going to have this arm moving down a little bit. I'm going to have both the arms come down a wee bit. And then what I'm going to do is in the next one, now it would be nice to be able to copy just the arms frames to like work on that, but I haven't figured out an easy way of doing that. So we'll just keep things simple. I'll move this down a bit more. And then I suppose they should probably move up again. Aha! Cat sighting. Cat emojis in chat, please. Don't know if you saw her. She was on my desk, and my camera doesn't catch a lot of my desk. So there we go. That might be okay. Let's. It kind of looks like it's doing this. And this is only 4 frames and 4 colors and 16 by 16 pixels. And it's taken us like half an hour. But this is it. This is the completed robot. we've got little spinning wheels. It sort of bobs up and down. Pardon me. And its arms go up and down, like that. So I'll give you guys a bit of time just to make sure that you're putting the finishing touches to your masterpieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to easily export this file, save it to your computer, that is, and how we can turn it into a GIF, which is kind of cool. Well, where does everyone stand on that? Have you heard the argument? Is it a GIF, or a GIF, or a YIF? Have you heard the examples for? It's not a YIF. It's a GIF or it's a GIF. Have you heard this before? Like a .gif. Have you encountered that before? Yeah, I definitely want you guys to put your robots into a Scratch game. In fact, I might even what I'll do. I'll go File, Share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this Endless Runner game, which I've already coded in. I think 300 should do it. I've already coded in some code that will make the Pixel bot attach to the player hitbox, and it should already be the correct size as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this into chat, and that way later on, I'll post it into chat in a second. That way later on, we can very quickly do remixes of this game, or you can remix one of your own games with your new Pixel bot in it. All right, it's a gift. GIF. All right. So hopefully you guys have had enough time to finish up your art, because we all need to learn how to do this now. So there's a little save button. Oh, does that even let you export it as a file? Yeah. So you can click on Save as a .piskel file. Just onto your computer, make a little folder for your Piskels, and then that way you can open up Piskel and upload your Piskel files and keep working on your projects. So yeah, you can do that. You can click on Save as .piskel. So feel free to do that if you want to do some more work on this robot. You want to see, because it will save things like the layers. It will save things like the like stuff that an image won't save. And that way, when you can come back to this and you can work on it a bit more. And the other thing that we can do once we've saved it as a Piskel, so we can come back to it later, is you can click on Export. And so we're going to save it as a GIF. You can even scale it up if you want, which is kind of cool. I'm going to keep it scaled down, though, because we can just make Scratch make it larger. So I'm going to keep it at scale 1. So if we were to scale it up, it would just basically, it would look the same, but it would make the image larger so it would read better. So click on Download as an animated GIF, and there should be the loop repeatedly. So this should probably go into your Downloads folder. What do I open you with? Photos, sure. And it'll be tiny. So tiny. I don't think I can even zoom in this particular thing. Yeah, it's tiny. But that's fine. Because what we're going to do now, I downloaded that, it's going to be in my Downloads folder, is we're going to go to Scratch. So everyone go to Scratch, and in fact, you can remix this project if you want, and just basically upload the sprite into the Pixelbot sprite with your own Pixelbot animation, or you can do, or you can do one of your own games. That's also fine. So to do that, if you wanted to, so I need to move my video. Yeah, cool. So if you're in Scratch, then you can click on choose a sprite, or don't click on choose a sprite. Hover over choose a sprite, and then click on upload sprite. As an aside, you can also save sprites and all the code in them, and then later upload them to different Scratch projects, which is pretty cool. So if you have like a really good piece of code in one sprite that you want to be able to use in multiple games, like maybe you want to make multiple platformers, that's the thing that you can do. You can save a sprite out from one project and then upload it into a different one. So yeah, so we're going to click on upload a sprite, this little arrow coming out of like a tray. We want the new Piskel, or whatever you called it. And now we should have, and I just make it size 300. And you can see this guy looks a little bit different from my other guy. But that is fine. I'm just going to take this code. The other thing that you could do, of course, is go to costumes and upload costumes. So from Scratch, you click on the costumes in the top left corner. Then you go to the bottom left corner where it says choose a costumes. You can go up to upload costume, and again select the new Piskel, and it will upload them. And it won't delete any of your original costumes, so you might need to delete those. I'm going to run it because I want to see what happens. So let's see what happens here. Oh, it's kind of like morphing between two different robot styles. Yeah, that's very strange. All right, let's get rid of some of these original Pixelbot. So yeah, as I said, you can put this type of art into your own game. You know, that doesn't look half bad. Obviously, obviously I wanted to start you off on. Oh no, died. Obviously, I wanted to start you off on pixel art that was very, very, very small, just because it's kind of easy to make 16 by 16 pixel art. But you'll notice that Piskel starts you off on 32 by 32. So if you want to like sort of level up from like NES era to SNES era, from the Master System to the Mega Drive, then by all means try and do something in like a 32 by 32. Uh-oh, died. So how's everyone going with uploading into Scratch? Does anyone have any cool games for me to play? Piskel 4's remixed. All right, let's go and check out some of these games. Let's go to Scratch. Oh, actually, at some point, can you end this runner? Is it this one? Hey, I like that. There's a kind of like Terminator element to this one. I quite like it. I like what's happening with the wheels as well. You can see the white bit stretches, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of really interesting kind of effects you can get with different costumes. So yeah, there's a bit where, look, can you see this white bit stretches? That's actually a really interesting effect. You can do a lot of very interesting stuff with only just 1 or 2 pixels. That can change the way that a piece of pixel art looks when it's animating. Your maze game broke. How exactly did it break, though, Blake? What did you... So you went upload sprite with the GIF. Did you upload with the GIF? Alrighty. Does anyone else have any Pixel 4s? I wonder if Mezziety's done a different one. Huh? Let's try opening up a new Scratch window. Don't want to lose the ones I've got. Let's have another quick look at my messages. No, that's fine. Let's go to Mezziety's page. That's the point. I've got a project page. Yeah. Yeah, we've got the endless runner. I think that might be the main thing. All right, so go into the maze game and reload. So player skin. Okay. So I think I know why it's broken. How do you lose your game, Blake? How do you lose your game? How does your game figure out when you have lost when you're playing the maze game? If touching color black, then change lives by -1. What color is in your robot? It has some black in it. And that's why it broke. So yeah, that's why I've actually always shied away from making color detection games, just because that kind of thing. You want to put some new graphics in and immediately it breaks your game. That's why I tend to not use if touching color. So that's that mystery solved, Blake. But if anyone else has got a game that they've remixed with their new little robot in, just write in chat. I would love to give it a quick play before we finish up for the day, probably in about 3 or 4 minutes. Let's have a quick look in here, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, I think it was mostly this one for Mezziety. That's good. Alrighty. Yes, Blake. Oof, indeed. Big oof. No, that's fine. But this is, you can see why I tend to, because I know that when we make games, I'll be like, oh, how are we going to do this? And a lot of the ninjas that I talk to are like, oh, we'll just do if touching color black. And I'm like, oh, I don't like if touching color black. I don't like, making game mechanics that rely on certain colors. I don't like it. And I understand why a lot of Scratchers do it, because I do think it actually runs a bit better in Scratch. When you do if touching sprite, then it does make the game run a little slower, because it detects that in a different way that's harder for the game to run. But yeah, there are reasons. There are reasons why. Yeah, so basically that's everything. Roblox oof, indeed, Mezziety. Oh, yo-yo cake. I am in. I am ready. So how do you guys find the new start time at 4 p.m.? Does that give you a bit more time, a little less stressful? Robo Run. Oh, I like that robot. That is very cool. Let's have a look at the costumes. All right, I'm going to put some quick code in here. Just to animate it. Let's try 0.3 seconds. Alrighty. Oh, that's good. Very good, very good, AJ. Very nice. I like that there's the sirens as well. That's really creative. But yeah, I showed you how to use the layers and such, but if you want to just make some pixel art and you just put it all in the same layer, that's fine as well. Like, I wanted to show you guys the layers just so you knew that they were there and why they were there, and that they do kind of make animating the pixel art easy, or at least makes the animating a bit better, but it's up to you whether or not you want to use them. And yeah, I really like pixel art. I'm looking forward to making some more pixel art for my games. So yeah, would love to see if you guys want to continue making more pixel art for your games. If any of you do some more stuff with pixel art, would love to see it. Pop your pixel art in your games. It's kind of nice to have art that, like, you make in your own game. I really enjoy that whole thing, that whole process. All right, well, I hope that was an interesting tutorial. I hope that was useful, breaking down how Piskel works. If you guys would like some more advanced pixel art tutorials on how to use Piskel, let me know, either through Scratch or through leaving comments on the YouTube page. And if there's other things that you'd like me to do, other topics you'd like me to do, other games you'd like me to show you, just let me know, either through Scratch or through leaving a comment on the YouTube comments. I know that there's like an age limitation on who can leave YouTube comments, so if you can't leave YouTube comments, that's fine. But feel free to do it. I read all of the comments. So yeah, we'll probably be keeping going at 4 p.m. Tomorrow is going to be making the T-Rex jumping game from Chrome, which I'm sure some of you guys have played. That's going to be really good fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I've got all the graphics all ready to go, so we won't need to spend a lot of time fiddling around with graphics, and we can just focus on the coding. And again, I like the fact that tomorrow we're doing a pixel art game, because you can see how simple the pixel art for the T-Rex game is, and yet it looks so good. It looks so like it's so impressive how good it looks, considering how few pixels it contains. So yeah, I hope you guys all had fun. You guys take care. We're going to be doing on Thursday Pokemon Part 3. We do these every Monday, every Tuesday, every Thursday at 4 p.m. So until I see you guys tomorrow for the T-Rex jumping game, stay awesome, be cool to each other, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time, ninjas.